Scammers have long time used me. Largely, nobody's interested in my views. So I'll put them on tape in case that ever changes so they can be accessed because the scammers are dangerous people who've been murdering individuals of an innocent direction, left and right. What I propose to do is this is Mother's Day, but it's also the day before a big Russian pageant um, that many people are going to be paying attention to because of the doomsday issues that come out in the Ukraine, over which doomsday is entirely unwarranted. So the doomsday issue seems to me to be being staged using Ukraine. There is a doomsday issue that pertains not to the Ukraine, but to AIDS and COVID. And the truth about what Trumpy-Tunes so-called oligarch Ouspensky circle is pulling. What we're seeing is the Elizabethan theater being facilitated by the noxious lying media. So there's some legitimacy to Russian complaints. I think anybody who lifts the hood and looks things over, I've been watching the CIA people, former CIA people, people in Judge Advocate General, some shills for Schiller Institute, which is LaRoche, and some members of Putin's foreign policy division, like Lavrov, and a certain canny picture emerges regarding what's happening that sheds some light on the whole train of operations, which is indeed a special military operation. You'll see that if you follow me. Basically, my feeling about Russia goes back to the days of when my father was raising me and still married to my mother. I understood them as having suffered a catastrophic war and shown a great deal of valor. In those days, these Ukrainian Slavs were fighting for Russia against Germany. Um, both Vladimirs um, suffered losses and family losses and ordeals of great suffering as a result of having to repulse the German army. I was relieved to hear the story that Vladimir Putin's mother escaped, barely escaped with her life. I'm pleased to hear that. Always cheered to see the children waving from the train in the evacuation of Mariupol, whatever it's called. I don't like to see this. Further, I recall very vividly in 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down that Storm and Norman types like John Tower were accusing Russia of being deceitful and ever more menacing in their acts of accommodating Western interests. James Baker promised for Bush that we would take NATO not 1 inch further, and Bill Clinton, Tang, precede or Tang, said, so what? And just made good on every accusation about American foreign policy that's ever been made. He lied and cheated and lied and cheated and expanded NATO despite the solemn word that we had given to an adversary who was showing a tendency towards peace with us. And this led to the current crisis in many respects. That I believe. I believe that Lavrov was part of an administration that tried to get on treaties, sensible agreements that had been made verbally to stop this civil war. I believe that they tried meaningfully to do that and were politely um, lied to and deceived some more by the psychopaths in DC's high command who obliterated Iraq. I believe Putin's right that they obliterated Iraq. I believe that the CIA and Judge Advocate General, who I saw talking about the lies that were told about Syria, were speaking the truth. Russia got in reluctantly at the end after NATO worked with pornographic trackers to obliterate Aleppo. And that the media just lies and lies and lies and lies. The people like W just lie and lie and lie and lie. The people like Trump just lie, lie and lie. And time preceding time, Clinton lies and lies and lies and lies. That's what I believe. And there's many reasons why I believe that. One of that is I'm a victim of human trafficking from childhood who was brutally tortured. And yet these people put up someone from Judge Advocate General who clearly sees the laugh in my significance. He said, Russia, they have this image of a, a man with a backpack standing in front of a tank, stopping the tank. But if he had been driving the tank, he would just run him over. And these Schiller people, it's clear that LaRoche and Larry Flint were working with Ringo Starr because Ringo Starr has sent in armed robbers through the bank itself to have mall shootings, demanding access to my personal accounts, lying through the teeth, covering up Mount Desert Island, and so on. Now, Putin covered up Mount Desert Island. All of these people worked with Penis Gabriel and AIDS and COVID. All of them did. So you're seeing two things at once. You're seeing a superpower shuffleboard and a parameter where they can force decisions and codify their mindset as a snafu of actual Nuremberg investigation of the biolabs. If you believe in biolabs, you're with the Russians, and if you don't believe in biolabs, or a Russian scam, then you must not believe that Russia was really the victims of misrepresentation and lies from NATO. That's the drone, and play that back and focus on it because it's very elusive. It's slippery. So, how do I know this? Well, one of the things that we see in this is they're inducing a new mindset. Like Biden, one of these, so-called oligarchs, but don't buy the stuff about oligarchs being in yachts and stuff. This is much more like Prince and the Pauper people. The stories of the gods in Mount Olympus who would appear on Earth in John Ruskin's stories, masquerading as crippled old men, wandering around. It's more like a Penis Gabriel fable. These people can do without their yachts. Yes, they love them, but they can sneak away to their Valhalla of the very poor if they want to. They can slip in and out of disguises. They're masters of disguises. They consider themselves mystics. They're from the Ouspensky circle of Kharkov, Ukraine, who put this together. So you have this sort of Kharkov theater. And what did they do? Biden says, "Oh, courage, oh, courage," And there was a sort of courage, Boston has these problems with little juveniles who come out and beat up old women, and then they don't want to resist because they're just kids, right? So, and Yoko Ono has this fiendish movie in her clique from the New York Kremlin opposite of kids drugging each other and giving each other AIDS. It's called Kids. And they put, they used Gelomini and Fulton Mini, to stage The Seduction of Me by Didi in a script clarifying their view that even germinating, much less fetal, pre-embryos are Jews in gas chambers. And they induct me into this mini pedo theater endorsed by, the Doyles of Allegheny County. It must be done. It must be done. It's the nature of reality. So they put children outside a theater and bomb it, right? 600 kids go up and smoke. Kids, theater, bomb. Fulton Mini, bomb. And they do this, to demonstrate their nature of reality is what they call it when they were thinking it out at Pitt. Eisenstadt working with Trump. This is all Don't Look in Don Bass's basement. Don't look in Donald Trump's basement. It's all this stuff. It's him saying, people die. Get over it. We're going to get rid of a bunch of children. Get over it. We're going to kick your grannies off the earth. Get over it. Because they have this idea that no one is innocent. That's what Eisenstadt used to say. Went on to write Trump speeches for Trump. No one is innocent. And the Russians have a point about what it's NATO's looking at them through trillions of dollars of natural resources if we can come up with a secret weapon to vaporize them. So the difficulties between NATO and Russia are real. And that's why Clinton, predating time, is a moron. There's no other word for it. The Russians wanted to join Europe. And that's what we all should have wanted. We should have said, yay, Martin Luther King stuff. Yay. Can you say that? He's like, let's get backstabbing. And Biden's like, I could send my son, get some money invested in these new territories. Oh, then they're drinking. You can see the drool dripping from Biden and Trump when they think of all those Russian assets they can get, and Putin's absolutely for real and saying, get out of here. But this stuff was analyzed behind the scenes by the Wyszynski circle. Stone went off and said, Putin, we know these forces are in play. We want you on board with us when we release COVID, right? And he'll say, okay, well, here's what you do. I'm going to say they were American biolabs. And then you guys say, anybody who thinks they're American biolabs are commies. And we don't want doomsday. So don't say that kind of thing, right? Say, Christ Jesus. Who could believe that, right? Jimmy Carter will lead from Christ Jesus headquarters, So on the count of three, Fox News, CNN, ABC, biolabs. Christ Jesus. How can anybody believe that? 1, 2, 3, Christ Jesus. And how can anybody believe that? 1, 2, 3, Christ Jesus. How can anybody believe that? And they ignore such things as Trump's and Ono's verdict that virginity proves rape in the line of sin because I gave Jeff Weiner a fat lip when he threatened to cut off he threatened me with scissors after my mother was humiliated. So they put something that causes a boil on my lip and gets my teeth on, and my gums all infected, right? Tulip. Tulip is like Trump, right? Tulip. Trump University is in on it. TU-lip. Don't give us your lip. This is Columbia's role in the COVID-19 monstrosity. All of that woke stuff about Black Lives Matters is don't give us no lip. They played an operation out of UW dialectical. Wokeism is move along. And they've got these people from Schiller saying, for Larry Flint, we're going to just be just like Flint. We're going to think of everything happened before, and we're going to be just like Larry over, which is exactly what they plan to do. It's in the script. It's a seedy, nightmarish backstab from the old opium wars in Great Britain. Penis Gabriel, read my lips.